Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Hammer. Today is Thursday, December 19th, 2024. I, of course, am with Originator Success here with your daily mortgage rate update, the only place on the web where you get to join me live each and every weekday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, as we talk about what's going on with rates and pricing and the mortgage market. I broadcast to you on Facebook and YouTube. Today's the kind of day where you just might want to crack one open. Now, granted, this one is just sparkling water from Costco. However, we may want to, jazz that up with something a little stronger today. It's going to be a rough one, and it could get rougher. So let's talk about it. If you're here live, say good morning. If you're watching on the replay, don't forget to give me a hashtag replay in the comments. Let me know that you were here. Less people are doing that, which means either less people are watching or less people are doing it because I say it every day and they're like, whatever. But listen, I'm asking you to do it. So just do it. But if you're here this morning, say good morning. If you're here live or on the replay, don't forget to smash that like button, tag another friend, share this post in a group. If you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe, give it the thumbs up, all that good stuff, and where we are at. So let's say hi to the live folks, and then we'll get into all of the stuff, if you will, all of the stuff today. But let's say hi first. Good morning, Mike Schmolgen. Good morning, Yasmin Martin. Great to have you here. Michael Love, great to see you, sir. Mallory Fotiadis, you are here, and good morning. It is a good morning, even though it's a morning. Kyle Mazikas, good morning. Amy Blauser. Tony Fitzgerald, good morning, sir. Glenn Boussard, good morning, with the exclamation. Love that you are awake and going. Angela Walters, I am glad that you locked before the meeting as well. We'd been in a lock stance for Monday and Tuesday. It was only Wednesday that we switched to cautiously floating, because if you were floating at that point, might as well see what the meeting brought. But we did send out some text alerts immediately after the meeting concluded, to go ahead and lock it up. We saw the writing on the wall. Kenny Rivard said, bah humbug. I get you, my man. I know this is tough. We would definitely like to see rates be a little bit better, but we have what we have, and we have it, don't we? So we just make the most of it. If you're here this morning, say good morning. If I didn't say hi to you yet, let me know. Mr. Rob Stewart, good morning, sir. By the way, actually, let me hide that for now. By the way, Mr. Rob Stewart, I saw was signed up for my year-end business and partly life planning session. I do this every year. And in fact, let me go ahead. I'm going to create a QR code for this real quick with the link. Hold on, I got to put the link in here. I'm going to create a quick QR code for this 2025 planning workshop, and there you go. I don't have an image for this one. We don't need one. I'm going to post this up there real quick. This is the 2025 business planning workshop. I'm also going to put the link in the chat. Planning workshop. This is me ruthlessly plugging this thing. Listen, guys, I have to tell you that you need to be on this. Even if you feel like you have a business plan, join me. It's $67. It's not expensive. It's going to go up next week. It goes up to $97. But for $67, just get your head straight. It's a 3-hour workshop. It's going to be on the 27th at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Yes, you'll get the recording. If you can't make it live, the recording is good, but you do want to try to make it live if you can. We will be going through the whole session where I go through my 3-part exercises of just kind of letting go. It's very cathartic the way that I do it. It's a self-made planning workshop. It's a conglomeration of things over the years. I've done this the last few years. If you've attended in the past, do me a favor, and you can give me a testimonial that you think it was good. Please give me in the comments. Let me know if you have attended the workshop in the past, if you felt it was good. if you felt it was helpful. Again, this is how I do my year-end planning and how I keep focus, vision, and just letting this year go and having a vision for next year are going to be key to success. It's going to be a rough year, but it's not an insurmountable year, right? There are less people out there, which means that even though there's less loans, there's more activity. So it's $67. I'm going to leave it up on the screen for a minute while we go through everything, and check that out for me if you don't mind. And I'll throw it back on there again. So Alan says rates are going to be in the threes. They will be for... I don't know what kind of rates. Actually, no, Alan, no rates. I don't think any rates are going to be in the threes. They might be in the 30s for credit card rates. Good morning, Tom Dedmore, Mike Morano, Bobby Searson, Deb Dickinson, Brenda Jenkins. Great to have all of you on here. Brenda, you've been on the past 2 years and it has been helpful. I hope I see you again this year as well. Again, there's the cool QR code here to make it easy. If you are on your phone, you can also grab hmmr.io/2025 plan. I sent out an email yesterday. I'll send out another one today. Mike Morano, last year's helped me put on paper, increase production in 2024. That's awesome, man. It's all on you, but it's definitely awesome. And thank you for that. Appreciate that. So, all right, enough plugging. And I do this, by the way, I don't make a lot of money on this. I mean, $67 is not a lot of money, believe me. When you're running a 7-figure company, it doesn't move the needle, but I do it and I feel passionately about it because it works. My biggest problem is the past productivity stuff and business planning stuff was always so intense. I never finished it, so I never did anything with it. The wonderful thing about this is at the end of the workshop, you actually have a completed document and it's something to follow, something you can pull out and make part of your weekly process of just rereading it and keeping you focused for the year. So that's why I push it so hard, why I see so much value to it. And I appreciate you all. And I appreciate all of you that do come and invest in yourselves for that. So, all right, let's get into it. Here is a quick summary of yesterday's Fed action. We did see a rate cut. It was a quarter point. We knew we were going to see a quarter point rate cut. Basically, that makes it 1 point in the entire recalibration process that they call it. So in September, the Fed cut a half a point. In November, they cut a quarter point. December, they cut a quarter point. At this meeting, there was definitely more dissension among the ranks. There was one out and out vote against it. That, I forgot which governor it was, but voted against it. But there's others like Michelle Bowman who, she voted for it, but it's kind of a, go along to get along kind of thing in my mind, where they voted for this. I think we're going to see in the meeting minutes when that comes out next month, we'll see that there was a lot of conversation about not even cutting this month and just ending. What did shake everybody up, though, was the dot plot, the speculation and forecast of where things were going to go in 2025. Markets thought that the Fed members would expect to see at least 3 cuts next year. Fed members projected a consensus of 2 cuts next year. And I'll be surprised if we even see 2 cuts. I'm not going to lie. I don't know that next year is going to bring any cuts, but that's next year. We'll see what next year brings. Remember, the Fed stuff is not necessarily control mortgage rates, but it's certainly all of it is based on the same thing. So the third thing that really kind of matters is that the Fed is now focused more on inflation rather than the labor market. If you remember the last few meetings, the Fed was focused on the labor market because we had labor market data showing that unemployment was creeping up and jobs were less, there were less jobs created, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. This time around, the Fed was pretty clear on that being different. So quick recap. Don't blame my boy Powell, by the way. Everybody loves to blame Powell, right? It's all Powell's fault. Powell. I got to tell you, Powell is partly the messenger and partly he's done a great job. I know I am probably 1 in a million that gives the guy a pat on the back. And I do so because he has navigated us and been the leader of the ship through the pandemic, the fiscal stimulus that the government just dumping tremendous amounts of money into our economy for a lot longer than what you may think. I mean, this money has been coming in now for almost 2.5 years that we were seeing this money pour into the economy. The fact that we had a labor market that was definitely a shortage and then returning to normal. We had that banking crisis. Remember, it was a crisis for like a week. They jumped right on that. And I feel like the Fed really did a great job nipping that in the bud. They opened up a window for borrowing. Remember, we had the mark to market issues where that was all part of that process. And the Fed jumped in and did the short-term loans for what banks had, like mortgage-backed securities on their books because of the change. All of this stuff, I feel like the Fed has done a really, really, really great job with very limited tools. When you have a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And I feel like the Fed has really done well with that. But let's go over to the charts. Hold on, I got to switch to this here. We're going to get rid of that question of the day. Cancel, remove. Okay. Let's go ahead and share the screen and let's get into everything. So first things first, like I said, a quick recap of what happened yesterday. Don't blame my boy Powell, but yesterday was bad. You could see that here on this huge drop down. Look at where we were. This was Tuesday. This was Monday. Remember the shape of this line chart. If we were to go back a little bit further, a month makes it a little too hard to see it, but you can see it right here. We were on the 17th, we were here, and it just boom dropped down. But right before that, here's Friday the 6th, right, which was about 2 weeks ago, almost 2 weeks ago, and we've been steadily seeing bonds losing ground. You can see that over here as this drops down. See the shape of this, right? We peaked up over here and then we were dropping. And then we kind of slowed up this week and then boom, that was because of the Fed meeting. If we move this to a 3-month line chart, it doesn't even bring up. I wonder if I could refresh this and if it would bring up. Okay, there it goes. So looking at that, remember back up in September, this was our best levels where we were at here. Rates were looking good. We lost a lot of ground in October. We did not really get any improvement in November. It started to recover as we were heading into December. And then bang, now we're back down. And you can see over here, take a look over here on the candlestick chart. You could see that yesterday it ended the day at 133, which was lower than the 150-ish range that we had on any of these. So we would have argued that we would have had some floor of support at around 100.50, and yesterday smashed through it. We're going to continue to drop down and see things go lower. If we look back over the year, we could see go back to the levels back in April or May. And I think we will. I think it's going to a little bit of time. But as we head into the new year, I think we're going to see mortgage bonds drop all the way down here. If we look at what that did for the 10-year treasury yield, April and May, you can see we're also up in this high. We've already seen, we're at 4.66, 4.62, 4.8. Right now we're at 4.56. And that is the first time, if you take a look over here, this is the first time we've pierced that 4.5 mark since back here at the end of May. So the end of May, this was the high level here, 0.58. Here we go, 4.61 right at the end of May. And that's where we're pushing back up again. And I do see things could continue to get worse. So rate sheets today, obviously be bad. They're going to make you want to throw up. Rate sheets today, you're going to see that rate sheets are about a quarter point higher than where they were yesterday morning. And if we take a look at, say, Mortgage News Daily as a reference point, let me pull this over so y'all can see it. Okay. So, you can see that here. We went from 6.92, 93, 95. Now we're back up in the sevens. That's what you're going to see on almost everything here. And then we'll take a look. So let's see what Ron has to say. I'm going to interrupt myself for a minute and pop in. And then Ron, let me see. I'm going to add my link here if you want. Hold on. Let me find a copy invite link. All right. So I'm going to throw this invite link in the chat. If you want to hop on, anyone wants to hop on and chat about this, we can chat about it. Won't keep it too long, but we'll chat about it if you want. While we wait for that, let me just kind of finish through this. Reprice risk today is high. I think we do have to worry. Right now, mortgage-backed securities are trying to hold near those the unchanged level. They're down about 5 basis points on the day to start the day. You could see here, I'm going to pull this up over and so you guys can take a look here. So I'm going to scroll this up. Let me move this up a little bit. There you go. All right. So you can take a look here and see after yesterday's drop, we have leveled off, but there is a lot of risk today. If we see mortgage-backed securities start selling off, what's going to happen is we're going to see that snowball. There's a very good chance that that could snowball. And if we see selling, it could get worse very quickly, lead lenders to reprice worse today. I don't think we see much of a recovery. I'll take a look at the comments in a minute and we'll discuss it further. My outlook is that rates are going to move higher in 2025. When I say higher, right now we're at like 7 1/8. I think we're going to see up into 7.5. One thing to recognize, as much as we want to fight it, this is the new normal. Rates are going to move higher as Trump takes office and implements his policies. We're going to see inflation increase a little bit. It's going to, I mean, there's so many variables to this, but he's going to be arguing that he wants the Fed to cut rates. We're going to see, because he wants to stimulate the economy and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, people are buying cars. Are they buying as many cars? No. Right. But this is leveling things off. It's still a restrictive policy at the rates that we have now, but it's loosely restrictive is the way that I would put that. And then we'll put that in there. So my lock advice is to lock them. Nobody's going to like it. Loans that were already, I don't think anybody floated through into yesterday. If you did, give up on the idea that it's going to go backwards. It's not going to go backwards. Don't look for that at all. But for new loans, they're not going to like it, but rates are likely to move higher. Let's go ahead and take a look at your comments. Anybody that wants to hop in, I threw a link down there in Facebook and on YouTube that you can click the link and it'll show me that you're here and we can bring you in and you guys could chat with me. So looking at what Siegel said, I'm looking to see where are we? Nathan, did he pay you to say that? Nah, he did. Again, I like the way when I watch Powell's news conferences, his press conferences, I like the way he handles the questions. I like the way he handles himself. I think he does a very good job trying to broadcast what's in the market. I think they do use Nick Timmeros as the whisperer. I think that he plays it well. And I think he runs a good ship. I mean, I really do. That's my feeling on it. Ron Siegel said, I don't think Powell's wife even thinks he's doing a great job. I know you guys are tough on him. Blink twice if there's a gun to your head. You guys are terrible. I think half the drop from the Fed portion of the drop came from the confusion that Powell demonstrated yesterday. Siegel, why do you think he was confusing? I didn't think it was confusing. Let's show a couple of things here that were kind of the highlights, right? So, this is really, let me see. Bloomberg had a let's see all right. Here's from yesterday. So Powell says future rate cuts would require fresh inflation progress. Fed lowers rates by 1/4 point, signals 2 cuts in 2025. Fed chair says he's still confident inflation will decline, but they were talking about it declining over time, years, not months, not next week. Federal Reserve officials lowered the benchmark interest rate for a third consecutive time, but reined in the number of cuts they expect in 2025. I forgot, what was it that he said about pausing or skipping? I think he said they were skipping, which left the door open more so than pausing for future rate cuts, right? With today's action, we've lowered our policy rate by a full percentage point from its peak, and our policy stance is now significantly less restrictive. And that's what they're trying to do. When they raised the Fed funds rate, they basically created a dam. The water has backed up behind the dam. Now they're starting to open that dam slowly. They're not just opening it full gate, letting all the water pour out. They want to open it slowly, let the water pour out. And I think that they've done that. Fed Chair Jerome Powell told reporters in a press conference, we can therefore be more cautious as we consider further adjustments to our rate policy. Ron said, the economy is strong, employment is robust, inflation is going up, we need to cut rates. So, and that's the thing, right? So they don't. Now, why would they cut? Well, they don't want to throw markets off like crazy. Markets were already projecting a rate cut, and they're basically trying to bring it closer to where they think neutral is. If they waited until you needed to cut rates, we would all be arguing that they were waiting too long and that they should have started much earlier than that because of the way that the data comes in and, forward thinking and reacting and lagging data and stuff like that. So the data that we see now, they didn't need to do a rate cut, but the idea is that they're trying to balance it. Powell's added interest rates were still meaningfully restraining economic activity, and the Fed is on track to continue to cut because these are high rates, even historically for the Fed. He said officials would have to see more progress on inflation before making rate cuts. And again, that's the big switch, is that the Fed has a two-part mandate: maximize employment, price stability. Price stability is inflation. 2% is the magic number they came up with, and they're trying to maximize employment. By saying that they're focusing again on inflation, that means that they're comfortable with where we are for employment. Vinny said it's hard to find a job if you don't have one. I don't know who Vinny is, but there's a lot of people. All I know is there's a lot of people that could be working, and they're not working because they can't find jobs. They're not working because they're lazy. So I say that from finding experience. Also, people want higher paying jobs, and yet that's a problem, and that's not the Fed's problem. Oh, you're voice texting? That's funny. So that's all right. You can voice text away. I do that too. All right. Anyway, my friends, that's kind of the idea and the consensus here of what we've got going on. So many of you, 50 of you that show me that you're here now. Let's see. 16 through the Originator Success page, 26 through my own, 7 on the YouTube channel. That's awesome. Powell said that. Yeah. Powell said it's hard to find a job if you don't have one. I missed that part if he said that in his press conference. I don't know that I necessarily agree with him. I think there's still jobs out there. So unfortunately, though, they're just not jobs that pay well. And I don't know if that's something that the Fed can fix. That's a part of a much bigger conversation. So anyway, 22 minutes in, just to reemphasize, rates are likely to move higher here in 2025. The advice is to lock them, protect your pipeline. I think that's where we're at going in. If you have not signed up for our free lock advice emails, we send those out each and every weekday morning, www.ratelockadvice.com. If you want to sign up for our text alerts, www.ratetextalerts.com. Give me a minute. I'll show you an example of what we had out there yesterday. I'll pull this over here so y'all can see it. So here you go. I mean, these are examples of what we sent out yesterday with the text alerts. Update. The morning one was reprice risk was high. We started at 100.87. We talked about what it was, sent out an update immediately. What was funny is immediately after the Fed statement, and I waited until about 10 minutes after 2, and we still hadn't seen a strong reaction by markets. So I sent out a text, and then literally 2 minutes later, all of a sudden, boom, it hits, and everything sells off. So we had to send out another alert. And then an update after the press conference. If you look at the times on these, right? So there was an update after the press conference that things were getting worse and to, definitely lock. And then our wrap up was there. So if you'd like to just get nice text messages through the day like this, just letting you know what's going on. They're super simple, easy to read, $7 a month. You can't beat them. You should join them. Again, consider signing up for the business planning workshop. $67. I think everybody on the call, there should be 46 people signed up today because there's 46 of you on the call right now. And if Rob Stewart's still here, maybe 45 new signups because Rob's already signed up. You guys should definitely sign up for this. I'm not hawking it for money. I'm hawking it because I think you need it going into next year. I see the biggest reason I see people fail is because they don't have a clear vision. They don't have a plan. They don't have strategies and tactics. And they're caught up in the negative mindset. We're going to deal with mindset, the bad year, the good year, all that stuff we're going to deal with on this. So check it out. And if you want a reminder when I'm going live each morning, hmmr.io/reminder, or use this cool QR code. There it is over here. And you can sign up for a reminder that I'm going live. So let me click over to this. All right. Boom. There you go. Let me get rid of that caption. Ron said that's when the markets got so confused. Listening to Danielle DeMartini-Bush, it's the hardest time to find a job anytime since 2017. I saw her talking about the housing market this morning in that Daily Feather, but I did not see that part about finding a job. And you know what? It really depends on what kind of job you're talking about. Are you talking about hospitality and leisure job, retail job? Are you talking about white collar job? Are you talking about a manufacturing job? I think we really need to break down a little bit more when you talk about this stuff and the nuances of what kind of job. I mean, anybody can find a job cleaning hotel rooms right now. It just doesn't pay well and they don't want to do it. And it's thankless work. And therefore, there's our open jobs. Always difficult to find people. Generally, you're going to find people that are immigrants, legal or otherwise, coming in to fill those kinds of positions because they're hard to fill. Same thing with finding tradespeople and people to fix houses. One thing that's awesome, though, one thing I love about social media, I see a lot more females in my news feed, female electricians, female tile setters, female drywallers and spacklers. And that's awesome because in today's day and age, there's no reason we shouldn't see more women in the trades. And I think that's awesome that we are seeing it, and hopefully it becomes more normal, and more of a accepted practice. We desperately need tradespeople. So, all right, my friends. Well, I am good to go. I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you again for joining me. Ron said, why get a job cleaning hotel rooms when you can make more money on unemployment? And again, that's the problem. That's the much bigger thing to fix. I'm going to leave the planning workshop here. I'm going to post the link for that one more time in the chat. My advice is go ahead and sign up for this before the price goes up next week. I'll be firing off an email. If you're on my email list, you'll see that today as well. And again, I hope many of you will join me. So, all right, my friends, I will see you. Oh, the link's not letting you in. Really, Ron? I don't know what happened with that. Well, we're wrapping up. I'm sorry, my friend. I just saw that now. That's weird that it wouldn't let you in. I don't know why. All right. So anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Make it a great one. Bye-bye.